SoundCloud Rap is one of the most iconic eras in rap music to many people, including myself. It really changed the genre of hip-hop forever and created some of the best music I've ever heard. It really mixed a lot of different types of music all into one thing. It was very authentic, it was colorful, it was different. It was just a new burst of energy for the rap music scene as well as the whole music industry. A new wave burst onto the scene really quick, but it seemed to die just as fast as it came, which has led many to ask, why is this? What was the factor that destroyed SoundCloud Rap altogether? Well, I don't think that it was one factor. I think it was actually a bunch all mixed together to create one big bag of shit that destroyed the entire wave. In my opinion, the prime era of SoundCloud Rap went from 2015 to 2019, only 4 short years before fading away completely. So first off, what do I mean by SoundCloud Rap? Of course, when speaking on the subject, SoundCloud the app must be mentioned, as it was the platform that helped birth the new wave of rap. But when speaking on the demise of the app known as SoundCloud, it's pretty easy to sum up. Basically, it just got oversaturated with a lot of wannabe artists who wanted to make it big. It wasn't authentic anymore. It wasn't kids who just wanted to make music to make music. It was a lot of clout chasers, and that just kind of destroyed the entire app's searchability. Gone were the days where you could just discover a really good upcoming artist. It would be Little Jizzstain, it would be Lil Ass Crack coming up onto the scene, just making trash music, trying to get a little bit of clout off of the upcoming scene, leading many of these SoundCloud artists to move on to more professional places like Spotify and Apple Music. But I'm not actually talking about the app itself. When I refer to SoundCloud Rap, I'm of course talking about the colorful hair, the face tattoos, the unique style, blends of music never heard before, clout goggles, and all of that. You got Instagram addicts, you got drug abuse, you got Lil Uzi, you got Playboy Cardi, all of that. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Now that you understand exactly what I'm talking about, we got to talk about how the wave started before we can really talk about how it died. The two big breeding grounds for cloud rap, and I'm going to call it that from here on out, are Florida and LA. As we all know, people in Florida are crazy and unique, so there's no better place for the wave to get started. A lot of the early guys like X, Ski, and Denzel Curry were really bringing that raw energy that wasn't seen before. No longer was it about being the fastest rapper or having a lot of really intelligent bars. It was about just bringing raw energy and really putting your emotion into the tracks, getting people hyped. It was a lot of party anthems. It was a lot of crazy shit. This really helped people like X get a really devoted fan base that were going to ride with him no matter what, because they really felt the emotion he was putting into his music, and they were giving that back just as much as he was putting it in. And yes, before you say it, I know that Space Ghost Perp exists, but I'm not here to do a full timeline of SoundCloud Rap. I'm just trying to highlight certain points so you can kind of understand where I'm coming from. I'm skipping ahead to where it really started to catch that mainstream attention, if you know what I mean. As other people in Florida started to get more attention for their crazy haircuts and face tats, the wave was really starting to be born. Then we got LA, where the real shit happens. Say it with me here, connections. No Jumper and the underground scene in LA were unmatched. So many crazy characters all interacting with each other, all doing small shows in the area with crazy crowds, promoting drug use, and all of this was surrounding the No Jumper podcast, where you could hear straight from the rapper's mouth what they were about. It wasn't often before this point to see up-and-comers get a platform to speak, maybe on a small radio station, but not to the entire internet like this. Usually you already have to be somewhat famous to get an interview, so this was a breath of fresh air. You didn't even have to be necessarily good at making music, you just had to be crazy looking enough to get eyes on you, like the dude with the Anne Frank face tattoo for example. This was kind of a double-edged sword though, however, as a spectacle was starting to build around the scene. Older rappers really didn't get why this was getting so popular. It seemed childish to them, the bars were dumbed down, and there was too many clout antics. This gave the whole wave a lack of respect in the overall genre. Luckily in the scene though, there were very talented people coming up, like the Goth Boy Clique, X and Ski, and Lil Skies. However, they weren't the ones getting the most attention. The ones getting the most attention were the ones willing to make the most noise. To be the biggest artist, you had to be willing to be the biggest clown. Enter Lil Pump, the boiled down version of all cloud rap's worst traits. Loud, colorful hair, stupid catchphrases, rampant drug use, and of course Instagram clout. Pump basically became the de facto face of the wave to the outsiders, unaware of the inner workings of the culture. But who really gives a shit about old heads at the end of the day? Everyone was doing drugs, making crazy songs together, and just having fun. Look at Pump's Zan Cake. Everything's fun, everyone's drinking lean, it's awesome, until the death of Lil Peep. This to me was a defining moment in the era of SoundCloud Rap. It was the death of innocence, if you will. Things got really serious after this point. It wasn't just fun and games and drugs anymore. Someone actually died. And of course, after something like that happens, it kind of killed the mood. So now all the rappers had to be anti-drug. The antics were really wearing thin, and the whole scene was just looking a lot worse after this tragedy. A lot of outsiders seen Peep's overdose as proof that all these rappers were just dumb kids with no talent milking themselves for clout. They had terrible drug addictions and they died because of it. When I'm talking about this, I'm not talking about old heads in the rap game anymore. I'm talking about the general audience. A lot of people heard about this because it became worldwide news, and it really just gave everything a bad look. Nobody wanted to actually look deeper on why people overdosed. They just wanted to call cloud rap stupid again and write it off. So at this point, more than ever, the wave needed someone talented with real charisma, no antics, and solid music to give the wave respect that it needed, which was started to see with guys like Uzi and and X. Uzi had been popping for a while at this point, but a lot of people were trying to write him off because of his colorful hair, but he was really starting to get respect. He would show people that he had real substance behind his identity, and he wasn't just the colorful hair and face tats that made him, he actually had bars. But eventually Uzi would grow so big that he would transcend the entire wave. On the other hand, we have XXXTentacion. He left behind his hype scream rap style and tried to make some truly meaningful music, and it worked. People were starting to really take notice of the young talent. People couldn't deny it anymore. They had to acknowledge that he had real skill. Behind the blue hair and face tats, there was a real artist. On top of that, people started to look back at Lil Peep in a lot more of a positive way, as well as new artists popping onto the scene like Juice WRLD and Lil Skies. All these guys have one thing in common: real talent. Unfortunately though, X's allegations around his name made it hard for people to really take him seriously. The broader rap game took issue with him and his violent ways, and they were still shunning him to a certain degree. He wasn't truly crossed over yet, but his music was no doubt resonating with the youth, but he needed more time, and unfortunately for X, he didn't get more time, as he was killed only a few short years into his career. Ending his music output and leaving the wave without a face to guide it into a more respectable light. Actually, they got the complete opposite with Takashi 6ix9ine. 6ix9ine would break onto the scene with his loud and abrasive attitude and Instagram antics to boot. He also dabbled in beefs with more established rappers and had very little respect for the OGs of the game. He basically epitomized everything people thought that they hated about cloud rap. OGs were already looking at the wave funny after Lil Xan came out and disrespected Tupac, but this was the next level of disrespect. No one as big as Takashi in his heyday of 2018, he became the face of the wave. On top of that, pretenders started to appear, with the likes of Jumix, Kid Buu, and Baby Goth. It was clear that labels had caught on to what was popular and were frantically trying to recreate it with no authenticness or actual talent behind it. These industry plant artists really stripped away everything that people liked about Soundcloud rap and just turned it into a complete mockery. Wave was becoming very perverted from what it was originally supposed to be. Why do people love Soundcloud rap so much? Well, it's obviously because of the drug use and the loud antics, right? Well, partially, but it really comes down to how authentic it all was. Just average kids coming together with their friends, making music they like to listen to, living how they wanted to, and not being chained by genres, labels, or getting controlled by anybody. It was just the rawest form of music until the labels got their hands on them. One by one, these rappers got signed, making them rich, but it also made it no longer easy to collab with other people in the wave, as now the labels had to approve them. This made the connective tissue of the wave really start to wear away. It was becoming more isolated, and it wasn't a big connected group anymore. On top of that, all the money made these rappers lazy. Their music output slowed down, and on top of that, the labels thought they knew better, changing these rappers' persona to better fit what they liked, cutting all the edges off and smoothing it into just the most basic traits. What is Lil Pump known for? He likes Instagram antics and he makes brain dead music, so let's make his music even more brain dead and make him into an actual clown. Oh, Lil Xan blew off that one kind of downbeat emo song. Let's build this whole stupid persona around him as an emo rapper that will be immediately shattered as soon as he opens his stupid mouth. They were really turning these rappers into caricatures of themselves. Getting face tats and colorful hair was no longer a way to express yourself. Now it was about getting clout and doing what they thought would blow them up. Smoke Purp's stick got old and burnt out. Ski Mask stopped making music after X's passing. Lil Xan lost his mind and destroyed his persona. One by one, each of these pillars of the wave were fading off, only to be replaced with lesser versions of themselves. And of course, 6ix9ine went to jail, and with that, the wave was basically done. It had no respect, it was watered down, and the one big name holding it down was now locked away. And he snitched, and that further destroyed him. Started to get more gimmick rappers like Skinny from the Nine, Blueface. Hell, even today we have that weird whistling guy who just makes noises. But even in these darkest of times, there was one more hope for the genre. One final person who could give the wave respect. Jarrett Higgins, also known as Juice WRLD. Juice was a genuinely talented artist. He had no gimmicks, he had great freestyling ability, and he had lyrical content to boot. He was exactly what we needed to bring the wave back. He was even starting to get embraced by OGs in the game and was starting to cross over into the mainstream. In only 2 short years, he had done more than most artists do in 10. And then he passed away too. And just like that, the last bastion of cloud rap ended right there. Trippie Redd still remains doing his own thing, but he's just not powerful enough as an artist to hold the whole wave on his back, and for the most part he's kind of just left it behind. Then after Juice's passing, COVID came along, making it even more impossible to get connections going in the underground scene. How could artists make music together when they were all locked in their houses? Music became more vapid, it became more isolated, and TikTok just made it even worse. And then Adam22 moved on from interviewing upcoming talent. He started doing political content. Lyrical Lemonade stopped doing videos with upcomers and mostly stuck to bigger names. The SoundCloud star pipeline was really starting to break down at this point. There really is no way to get noticed like there was back then. and the only way to do it is through TikTok, and that makes it very hard to get an actual fan base, as most people will only know you for 20 seconds of music. And yes, there are still a few people that exist in that realm, like DC the Don and Baby Tron, but overall the whole colorful hair, face tatted rapper trope has become a parody of itself. A lot of the new guys who try to do this shit really come off as corny, and they aren't connected enough to other artists of the same type to make it feel like a full community. So there you have it. In my opinion, that's how cloud rap died. It started as an authentic way for young kids to get their music popping, turned into a huge community that was looking like the next big thing in rap, only to get too concerned with the antics and drug abuse to take itself seriously. The music suffered, the labels took over, and rappers holding up the wave got lazy. People like Book and 6ix9ine made the whole wave look bad through their actions, and meanwhile the real talent died off. Kind of a sad story overall, but don't worry, I believe sooner or later we're going to see a new wave of inspiring young artists looking for their own shot in the rap game, hungrier than the last generation and with the inspiration of those who came before, and hopefully this video teaching them what pitfalls to avoid, they'll grow and become even bigger than their predecessors and change music forever. So thank you guys so much for watching. Stay positive and go out there and do amazing things. I believe in all of you. Shout out Knife Gang. If you made it to the end of this video, leave a comment of a knife emoji below, or if you can't do that, just say Knife Gang. If you could subscribe to this channel, that would really help me out. I'm trying to become the biggest Twisted World on the platform, so if you could subscribe, it will help me beat this guy out and reach my dreams. But most of all, just thank you for being here and listening to my story. Bye.